Lubu Fengxian, humanity's first fighter in Record of Ragnarok, and I gotta say, I liked him a lot. Now, I will not be talking about his standalone manga, his spin-off, because well, it's not completely translated in English yet. And also, I just want to keep in the continuity of actual Ragnarok because they do introduce some characters in his spin-off that obviously should be in the tournament watching him fight. His dad being number one, I'd say. But yeah, I'm just gonna stay away from that for now, and we're just gonna talk about what we know of Lubu from the actual story of Record Ragnarok, the Lubu that fought Thor. So yeah, yeah, let's talk about it, shall we? All right, so obviously China, China's greatest warrior, the flying general, so cool. But I gotta ask you guys something real quick. Lubu versus Shinchi Hung, who wins? Sorry, I had to ask that. I just had to ask that because they're both from China. One is the greatest warrior, one's the king where it all began. Just had to say it, alright? Alright. I'll let you know who I think's gonna win at the end. No, I'm joking. I'll leave it up to you guys. So yeah, alright. Lubu, okay, compared to many of the other characters that come out later on, he's not that complex. He's really not. Same with Thor. They're both not complex at all. They're both very, very similar. That they're both just too strong for their era. No one gave them a challenge, and that they're just so bored out of it. And we see Lubu in his youngest years. We see him in not his standalone manga, not his spinoff. When we see him at his youngest, he's a little baby. No, an actual regular Ragnarok series where he killed a wolf. Yeah, he straight up killed a wolf with a knife. Yeah, he killed a wolf and he was just so bored of it. He's like, yeah, kid, like, yeah, I did that. Nothing to it. Then later on, we see him, as he ages, he's on a horseback and he fights a bear, kills a bear with his bare hands. Didn't mean to say that. And he just goes through his life, conquering battlefields, just getting people following him, and his main dude that follows him. Here's a tidbit that Lubu keeps him around because he reminds him of his father because he looks just like his father. Good stuff there. I actually like that in the spin-off manga. I just wanted to say that, just a little tidbit there. But yeah, Lubu, again, was just so powerful that no one ever really gave him a challenge in his life in the China Empire. Just fighting, just taking down anyone that came at him. And he'd eventually just start creating a new technique that he would just get a spear, just go on the edge of a cliff and just start swinging it. And it's like, okay, I get why he's doing that, because, kill the time, right? You might as well do something. And then he creates his technique, Sky Eater, which again is very cool, but it's even more tragic for Lubu because Lubu spent many, many days just practicing breaking halberd after halberd until eventually he mastered it and split the sky, which is Sky Eater. And when he achieved that, he realized there was no one to use it on. There's really no one to use it on whatsoever, and which is very unfortunate for him. And so yeah, again, Lubu is he's I. It's hard to say he's tragic because he's kind of not. It's more of like you feel bad for him. You feel bad in the sense that he never had a good challenge until he met Thor. It's like, okay, that you felt bad for him. He's like, yeah, and he killed him. He didn't kill himself. He gave himself up so he could die. He's like, I died. I lost. I didn't lose. It's more like I lost. Well, instead he lost to his boredom. Like, yeah, there's it. There's no one that could beat me. Might as well just die. There's nothing else for me. Which is very interesting. I gotta say, an interesting take on him that he was just born, I guess, too late for the Emperor, where it all began, and too early for any other excellent warriors that come right after him. So again, very, very tragic for Lubu there. Again, not a very complex character, very simple in a way, but I guess that's okay. I know I kind of would want more, but for what we got in the first match between Lubu and Thor, it's actually not that bad. It's just getting to know them, and something that I really liked with Lubu when he first faced off against Thor and Heimdall announced for the Ragnarok to begin for them to fight. Both Lubu and Thor just stood there, just watching each other, just like, all right, like, okay, it's begun. And they both just kind of gradually, just like start walking towards each other, not taking each other serious whatsoever. The reason is because, well, both of them actually believe The other one's good, nothing. The other one's gonna be nothing to him. You know, he's like Lubu thinks he's gonna swing once, take out Thor. Thor thinks he's gonna be able to swing once, take out Lubu. And once Lubu takes a swing, Thor blocks it, and Lubu stops his block, and Lubu's like, "What the? All right, let me try a little bit harder." He tries a little bit harder. Actually, doesn't send Thor back. It's more like he just sent him sliding, you know, backwards until where Thor's like, oh, "Okay, I see what's going on here." And then that's when Thor gets his hammer, throws it. That's the hammer that slayed a bunch of giants, and it came down at Thor grabbed it, smashed down right on Lubu. Lubu immediately, he didn't just block, he blocked it and slashed Thor, which is the first time Thor ever got damaged. And Lubu was right there, okay, yeah, you're not that bad. And that's when them two actually start throwing against each other. These two are finally realizing, okay, there's actually someone here that can actually stand a chance against me. And Lubu has a bit too much fun. Let's just say that he doesn't take advantage because once he destroys one of Thor's gloves, Thor is kind of not helpless, but he's kind of pushed on the edge because he was using the gloves to parry the Lubu's halberd. But once one broke, Lubu or Thor couldn't really swing the hammer all that well because he needs it to restrain him till the hammer awakes. And once that breaks, Thor doesn't really have that much use of his hammer, and so Lubu just doesn't take advantage of that. That's probably the biggest problem I have with him. He doesn't take advantage of it, especially when Thor loses the hammer. But then when it starts pulsating, Lubu kind of looks over and he's like, "Wait, what's going on here?" And Thor's like, "Yeah, my hammer finally woke up." And he removes the other glove, and Lubu's like, "All right, yeah, this is what I'm talking about." Which is like, it's in character. It is within character, but just that part with Lubu, like, come on, Lubu, you could just win it. He could annihilated. He legit could annihilated Thor when Thor lost that glove. I guess you could say, well, Thor could have just I guess just go more strength, just fought without the hammer waking up. It probably would have damaged the hammer, but it would have been better than nothing. Which I think Thor probably more than likely would have done that if push came to shove. But Lubu just wanted, okay, the hammer woke up. All right, now let's try. Let's really test it out. And Thor actually, gets the hammer and he throws it with even more power. Lubu obviously dodges. Thor grabs the hammer, and Lubu does the exact same thing. Because again, with him, it's like, well, if it worked before, right? He blocked the attack and parried and struck Thor. Why not? Why won't it work again? He does it. Thor right on Lubu, but this time Lubu's legs just give out. Much more graphic in the manga, I gotta say. But I liked it more in the manga. Obviously, the manga is superior, but anime, it's all right. But yeah, with Lubu's legs broken, and then yeah, Red Hair comes in to help out Lubu, and it was so freaking cool, man. I gotta say, and which is cool on the gods' part that they actually let Lubu's horse get join, because even Zeus said that they're essentially one. They're one fighter. The horse is an extension of Lubu, so that's cool. We see Lubu get on the horse on Red Hair. Lubu just tells Red Hair, will you let me ride you one more time? And Red Hair just agrees to that because Red Hair is a great horse. In the manga, man, when they first meet, how Lubu gets his respect, I did not see that coming. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty good stuff there. But again, we're not talking about the spinoff. But then we see Lubu, get on the horse, ride around about Thor. Thor, gets his hammer, throws it one more time. Then both do one final clash as Lubu finally uses his Sky Eater. Finally, he uses it at his when I say full power, yeah, I guess. Yeah, with the whole, I would say probably 98, 99%. Because again, the legs are kind of destroyed, but if I get to Thor and it doesn't really seem to do anything against Thor, Lubu's arms just get annihilated. Where Lubu's weapon breaks and just essentially just kills the Valkyrie. And again, Lubu again doesn't really care. His arms just hanging by like tendons. He just gets it, rips off, throws it, and he just charges at Thor one more time. Because again, he's gonna have fun with this till his soul gets annihilated. He's gonna charge at Thor. If he can even reach Thor, he's gonna tear his throat out with his teeth. But Thor doesn't allow that. Thor just just returns Lubu's smile with his own smile as he just decapitates Lubu, just smashes his head into jelly, and Lubu just falls dead. Yeah, that's really it for Lubu. Again, not very complex. Like really, I'm not gonna pretend he's really complex. not whatsoever. But again, he serves the story properly. He gives us a good insight on what humans are capable of in this story. Because again, humans, even though Lubu has like monster strength versus Thor, a god that's well known. I think that's a very good for people to read the manga, especially like Western audiences. Because like me, I really didn't know much about Lubu, to be honest. I'm not gonna joke. I really didn't know much about Lubu, just really the name and flying in general. But I didn't know those two were the same person. But Thor, we obviously know a lot about Thor, and pairing them two up against each other was very very interesting. And Thor winning was like, wow, like I guess you could. I'm not gonna lie either. You kind of think Thor is gonna win, but it does show the stakes that once you die, we didn't know this at the time, but once you die, your soul's eradicated. That's it. No, there's no afterlife. It's done. Like, it's like you never existed, which is shows a very very terrifying event. Like, so yeah, the fighters here are putting. They're not just gonna die. They're gonna get their souls are gonna get annihilated if they lose and die here. So again, shows the stakes there. And again, Lubu, great fighter, but in the end, he was having too much fun and he just wanted to go out with style. You can respect that there. All right. So yeah, Lubu. Let me rate Lubu in a Record of Ragnarok. Again, not very complex. He's not complex. He's not terrible either. He's not overly simplified. He's not like someone that's like, oh, I'm just so strong I can never lose. No, it's just there's more to him than that. Just a little bit, but there's more to that. So I'll give him a 6 out of 10. Again, he's not bad, but compared to other characters in this story with like amazing backstories, yeah, he doesn't really compare all that much. But yeah, Thor and Lubu, great fight, great first round. Lubu again, simple but very very likable. I can see why people like him. And also, almost forgot when I went to a con one time. Actually, when I went to get my manga signed, with the volume one with Lubu on it, and I actually spoke to the English voice actor with Lubu. I talked to him just for a few minutes, and it was so cool. We were talking about it, and he said, "Man, I can't believe Lubu lost like that." And I was like, "Yeah, right. If Lubu had his red hair, he would have won." And he was like, "Yeah, I believe he would have won from the beginning." I was like, "Yeah, it's possible." I'm not gonna lie. Lubu started off with red hair versus Thor. There's a good chance Thor might have lost to Lubu there, but that's a whole other story there. So yeah, I really liked him. Let me just say, let me know what your guys' if you missed him this far, I greatly appreciate y'all. Let me know what your guys' favorite and least favorite moment with Lubu is. My least favorite moment as well, obviously, he didn't take advantage of when Thor was disarmed. He really didn't. He should have. But it is what it is. It's very unfortunate. But okay, my favorite moment is just Lubu being happy. When he charged at Thor, he was just giving it his all. He was finally using Sky Eater, the technique he created. He could finally use it on a god. And I like that moment a lot. It was actually pretty good, especially when you saw him as a kid. He witnessed lightning striking a tree down. He stared up into the sky thinking, if there was ever going to be a rival, would the rival be up there? Pretty interesting thoughts for a kid, because he was a kid at that time, but all right. But Lubu, I guess he was thinking big back then. He was thinking big, and when that never happened, I was like, free, whatever, I give up. I'm just so bored. Again, Lubu, 6 out of 10. I do like him, but compared to other characters, I mean, come on, all right? So yeah, that concludes my discussion of Lubu. I just want to talk about him. I'm going to start talking about all the other humans and god contestants, because why not? I like Record Ragnarok so much. It's favorite manga, why not chat about it, talk about it, discuss about it, things like that. Anyway, I appreciate you guys so much for listening this far. Hope you guys have a great day. Take care. Later.